Hello and welcome to this episode of The Dig. I'm your host Jamie, and today we're going to be talking about tryouts. But before we get started, I just want to say that our sponsor today is My Little Athlete. If you need anything for tryouts or the volleyball season, go to mylittleathlete.biz and check out what we have to offer. So, tryouts. I know everyone's getting a little bit nervous. Tryouts are right around the corner in most places. And we're just going to go through a few things that you should expect and how to handle it. So, the first thing I'll say is you should go to tryouts with the expectation that you're going to be asked to work really hard, be running around. So you should probably spend some time this summer getting in shape. Spend a little bit of time maybe running or lifting weights or something. Some places you play are going to expect you to be in really good shape, and they're going to do some kind of fitness test. And then other places, other tryouts, they're not going to expect that at all. So if you know ahead of time what's expected, if there's some kind of an outline that you can read through, then I would go in and physically be prepared to do what's asked of you. I got some specific questions that came in. What's the difference between high school and middle school tryouts? I do high school tryouts and middle school. Like, I run them both, and I would say for me, I run a very similar tryout. The only real difference is that I expect more of older players. I expect them to be better, working a little bit harder. When I say, pass, I'm not explaining how to pass. I'm seeing if you have the ability to pass. So the difference really, it's not that big of how it's run, although a older tryout might be run a little bit more tight and effective, but mostly it's all about what we're looking for. If you're older, you're going to be expected to do more. So another question, here's kind of a fun one. Some people get kind of nervous about what to wear to tryouts, and that's really like the last thing that you should be worried about. So you should wear spandex shorts if you have them, and wear a t-shirt if you have like a school t-shirt from the school volleyball program, or a club t-shirt if you're trying out for club. Any kind of volleyball t-shirt, if you have it, go ahead and wear it. But things not to wear would be like really loose fitting tank tops and things like that. If it's like a distraction, if you're kind of going there to be a trendsetter of some kind, then I wouldn't really wear that. You really want to go and just wear something that's super comfortable, that you're not thinking about, you're not having to tug on all the time. If you're having to pull your shirt up all the time and stuff, you don't want to be dealing with that at tryouts. Really, you want to just be comfortable and covered. Make sure that you're wearing athletic shoes. They don't necessarily have to be volleyball shoes. If you don't want to buy them before tryouts, then don't worry about that. But athletic shoes, I get asked all the time about knee pads, because some people don't want to buy knee pads until they know if they made the team, because they're like a $20 or $25 purchase. So if you have knee pads, I would definitely suggest you wear them. For my tryouts, they're not a requirement, but if you know yourself and you know you're going to have a hard time diving for the ball, then you should probably wear knee pads. If it doesn't really faze you, there's plenty of people, there are whole teams that don't wear knee pads. So it's not like the end of the world if you don't have them. And I wouldn't put somebody, or I wouldn't cut someone just because they showed up without knee pads. But if somebody's really hesitant to go for the ball, that might be a reason that they don't make a team. And because I, as the coach, I would have no idea that they were hesitant because they weren't wearing knee pads. So it's kind of a personal preference for you. Other things to consider: make sure that your hair is pulled back. If you have bangs that are like side swept bangs or something, they're going to be in the way. Go ahead and pull them back in a bobby pin or something. Coaches don't want to be distracted by your hair, and you shouldn't want to be distracted by your hair either. Just pull it back and pull it out of the way and be done with it. So day of tryouts, make sure that you show up about 15 minutes early, maybe a little earlier. If you're comfortable enough to do that. Make sure that all of the paperwork is in order. It's all been done, everything that you need to do. There are almost always ahead of time, you'll know what you need to do or what you need to bring or whatever. So make sure that all that stuff is taken care of. Then on the day of tryouts, you're not trying to throw it all together at the last second and adding stress where there really doesn't need to be. I think that's about it for getting ready for tryouts. Now, when you're at tryouts, a few things. One, biggest, hugest pet peeve. Most coaches will agree this is a big pet peeve of theirs. If you're not listening, if you're talking to somebody and then you don't know what's going on, they're going to be really frustrated with that. The coach does not want to have to repeat instructions for you because you weren't paying attention. So make sure you're not sitting around ignoring the coach and then asking what's going on, because it's not going to make you look very good. Other things, you can completely control how hard you're working. If you're, running around, working up a sweat, doing your best, that is all going to reflect positively on you. If you're going really slow, if you're taking a whole bunch of time to go shag balls and kind of dodging drills and trying to get out of things, that's not going to go very well for you. So make sure that you're working really hard. That's something you can completely control, and it really, it goes a long way. So other things, let's see. One thing that I would suggest is that you tell the coach you can play any position. So even if you're not real comfortable setting, you can tell the coach, oh, I've never played setter, but I'd be happy to try it. That'd be an excellent way to phrase that. I've never played outside, but I'd be happy to try it. Then your coach will put you in there. That gives your coach the understanding that it's something new to you, so they shouldn't expect you to be amazing at it. And yet you're willing to learn something new. If you say, I don't set, and leave it at that and not go set when you've been asked to go set, well, then that's going to tell the coach that you're unwilling to learn something new. So take all of that in. If the coach asks you to try something new, just jump in on it. And yeah, you can tell them, oh, I've never tried that before, but I'm happy to do it, and they will be very happy about that. So let's see. Oh, I've said so like 1,000 times on this episode. The last thing, I have a question here. What's the main thing that a coach looks for in a player's personality? I can't answer that for every coach, because every coach is going to be totally different. Some coaches, every coach just values things differently, and just like people connect with people differently, there's a reason that your best friend is your best friend. It's because for some reason the two of you get along really well. And there's a reason that there are some people you don't like, and it's because for whatever reason your personalities just don't mesh with each other. That's the same between like the coach-player relationship. There are going to be people that a coach is drawn to just because their personalities work well together. It doesn't mean that a coach should ignore you just because you don't mesh together, but it's just something that you should consider as a player. It's a relationship just like anything else, or just like any other relationship in your life. It's just two people who are trying to work together. So what do I look for in a player? The first thing I want is somebody who's going to work really hard and really, not like fake work hard, but like really just getting after it every day and working hard. I also really like it when people are friendly and nice. That's just a personal thing. I like to work with people who like to work with me, and if they're friendly and nice, then that makes me happy. I also like to work with people who are, willing to learn and kind of willing to try new things and stuff. So if you're really uncomfortable trying new things, then I have a little bit of a harder time. And so not to say that I can't work with people who don't represent those personality traits, but I think that most coaches are looking for people who work hard and who are pretty friendly and just really easy to get along with. And that makes them a good teammate too. And so if the coach knows that about a person, then they're also going to say, oh, well, this will make a good teammate. And so they'll make a good person to put on the team. That is about it. If you're trying out this fall, I encourage you not to worry too much about it. There's really only two outcomes. I mean, it would stink if you didn't make the team. I totally understand that. And I have a couple blog posts that I wrote. I can't think of them off the top of my head. I think one's called a letter, basically it's a letter to a player who made the team and a letter to a player who didn't make the team. And I understand that not making a team is a big deal and it really hurts. but it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your world. And so you need to recognize that going into tryouts, that yes, you want to make the team, and it will hurt a little bit if you don't, but recognize that not everything in life hinges on that. The other thing is, try not to spend all of your time being nervous. Just go in, work really hard, and have a good time. Spending a lot of time being nervous and not putting yourself out there is not going to help you in any way. It takes a little bit of bravery to go to tryouts, especially if you're not the best player on the team. Like, if you're like the best player in the program and you show up to tryouts, well, you're feeling pretty good. But if you're kind of in the middle and you're really unsure of your fate, it takes a lot of courage to go and allow yourself to be judged and compared. And then at the end of the day, have somebody make a decision on if you should make the team or not. And that always strikes me as super courageous, just to be able to go and do that. And I also really am impressed when people will do it a second time. Like, if they don't make the team, then they work really hard and they come back the next year, because they're putting themselves in the same situation, already knowing that it doesn't feel good if they don't make the team. And that's like, that requires a lot of courage. And I just like, I get that. So that's it, I guess. If you want my 21 tips for volleyball tryouts, you can go to mylittleathlete.biz/tryouts, and you can sign up. You'll have to put in your name and your email, and I'll send you a whole PDF on 21 tips, like my best tryout advice, things that you can completely control. I'm not even going to talk about things like skill, because there are people who might maybe better or whatever, but you can control these things, the 21 things on my list. So thanks for spending a little bit of time with me, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Bye.